Hello there, this is James and you're watching Tixee Live, and a very good morning to all of you. In today's program, I want to do a quick review of what was discovered from the FOMC minutes, which was released yesterday. Talk a little bit about the single currency, again, because that's all talk in the currency market, and discuss the greatest soap opera happening right now, which is, of course, the UK. But before we get into that, don't forget, these little videos are for educational purposes only, and in no way whatsoever should ever be taken as financial advice. I always suggest you do your own research and do your own due diligence, and of course, know the risks at hand before entering any trade. With that out of the way, let's get started. So, the morning after. Hello, how are you, sir? Hello to you, and I hope you're well. I'm very well, thank you, sir. Thank you for asking. Hello, thank you for asking. It's nice. It's nice to have interaction. So anyway, let's get into it. First of all, the morning after of some really dramatic events which happened last night. Not the FOMC necessarily. That was overshadowed by something else, which I'll talk about in a bit. But let's talk about the FOMC and just give it a quick overview of what we found out and what was discussed from these minutes. First of all, in the minutes, it was said that more restrictive rates are possible. So basically, underlining that they are willing to be as aggressive as they think is necessary to attack inflation. As well as that, in the minutes, it said all members agree with either a 50 basic point rate hike or a 75 basic point rate hike in July. So now the market is expecting probably 75. As well as that, in the minutes, inflation was talked about 90 times, 90 times. So they are absolutely obsessed with getting to their target of 2%. Obsessed with inflation. Don't forget, I call Powell the inflation terminator. So obviously, inflation is on their mind 100%, and they're committed. The fact that they said more restrictive rates, they're all up for doing 50 to 75, and the fact that inflation was discussed 90 times really goes to underline their commitment, unconditional, as they said last time, their commitment of bringing down inflation. So what's been the knock-on effect to the market? Well, to be honest, slightly lukewarm. I think the market expected a hawkish tone anyway, but the USD remains number one. Let's have a quick look at it now, actually. As you can see, obviously, we still have a lot of risk aversion, okay? A lot of risk aversion, obviously, a lot of recession fears. Driven on by this FOMC minutes as well. But what's interesting is the dollar clearly seems to be the safe haven of choice, because at the moment it's back challenging the 136 level against the Japanese yen. Don't forget, the yen has been under pressure against the dollar for a while. However, as you'll see now, the dollar is and it was under pressure against the dollar for a while, but we saw a little bit of yen buyback. But again, once again, the USD is now more bullish. So clearly, it's showing us a safe haven as choice for the market. What was that? No reply. Hello, good morning to you. I hope you're well. Okay, so what I was saying. So yeah, it is clearly the safe haven of choice. If you look at the dollar against the Swiss franc, again slightly bullish against the Swiss franc, currently trading at 0.9708. So yes, at the moment, as it stands, the dollar is number one choice as a safe haven. Again, if we look at it against gold, that used to be a safe haven, Again, dollar strength against gold. So yeah, not a safe haven of choice at the moment, gold. As you can see, the dollar is stronger against it, and it's currently trading at $1,742.44. Next key level for that, if the bears keep going, I've noticed I'm looking around $1,727. That is a potential key area of interest. So yeah, there we go. The dollar is king at the moment, still on its throne. So there we go. Let's move on to something else. The currency, which has been talked about an awful lot over the last couple of sessions, and there is no reason why not it should be talked about, because it is the headline, and that is the euro on the path to parity. On the path to parity. Now, a lot of analysts are now expecting it to go to parity in the medium term. In the medium term. And we'll have a look at where the euro is at in the moment. In fact, SocGen, a major investment bank, has said, and this is quite damning actually, the euro remains unbuyable. Unbuyable. So they're one of many who are extremely bearish on the single currency. Now, there is an event happening today. It's not usually a high priority event, but I think the market's going to pay a lot more attention to this event due to the fact that the euro is under so much pressure. And that's the ECB monetary policy meeting accounts. And this is due at 11:30 p.m. UTC. And how's work going? It's going really well, thank you, my friend. It's going really well, thank you. Busy, but good and exciting, because I love the markets. But this, so this is coming out at 11:30 p.m. UTC. It's basically like the FOMC minutes. It's very similar to that. So we're going to have a look at some of the statements made, where the euro is at the moment. The market's going to pay attention to this a lot to see if they get hints that will the ECB do 50 or 25, or are they going to be aggressive, or as aggressive as the FOMC? So that's going to be quite a keen event to watch as well. So usually it's a lukewarm, it's a medium event, but because of the euro and the state it is in at the moment, I think the market's going to take more interest in this than it usually does. Let's have a quick look at where the euro is at the moment. Here we go. There we go. That's better. Right, the euro. Okay, currently trading slightly higher than it off the lows of yesterday. Currently trading 1.02097. But as you can see, it's still extremely under pressure. It is under the 100-day moving average, the 200-day moving average. RSI is between the 70 and 30 level, so not indicating that it's indeed oversold at all. So yeah, euro has still got a little bit of way to go, I think. It's still pressured. There might be a little bit of selling pressure from here. That's the level which it's tried to break a couple of times around the upper band of the Bollinger Band. That's 1.2103. So that's an area to keep an eye on. So yeah, anyway, yeah, still very much under pressure, but we can expect occasionally for the euro to be some euro buys from the dips. But I think the general sentiment for the euro at the moment is extremely bearish. And like I said, many are expecting it to go to parity within a few months. Not saying that I think it's going to go to parity, but that is the expectation. Against the pound, is actually still under pressure from the pound. It's currently trading at 0.8519, testing that level I've been keeping an eye on of 0.85146. So keep an eye on that. So surprisingly, with all the euro drama, the sterling is still actually holding its own against it currently as it stands. It was my mouse. Here we go. Right. Okay. Right. What else do I want to get into? Interesting. Yeah. Hello, my friend. Good morning to you. Good morning to you. It is extremely interesting times, actually. I can't remember a time when it's been this exciting. There's so many different stories, because usually what tends to happen with the markets usually is there's one big story, and that one big story dominates everything, and the market focuses on that one story. But at the moment, we've got so many stories happening all at once. The market is generally confused which one to focus on first. So obviously, yeah, that moves me on to a very good morning, mate. Good morning. Great to see you. And this moves me on to another story I want to talk about, which is, like I say, the UK, the greatest soap opera I've ever seen. Last night was so dramatic. is unheard of, and the upshot is, as it currently stands, Boris Johnson is clinging to power, and I don't understand. Not that I want to get political at all, I don't, but I don't get how what he's thinking, how he can do this. Okay, because we've had 30 officials actually resigned. 30 have resigned. It's not the one or two, it's 30 have resigned. And many last night went to him, including the new appointed chancellor, went to him and said, look, you need to go. But he is not going. And we'll do some quotes from a couple of MPs, which I find really fascinating. One was, this was Julian Smith. He says, worrying, challenging the system. Bojo is worrying, challenging the system that we run the country in for years. And this is my favorite quote. He's holding out in a Trumpian style. So basically, he's relating it to the sort of actions of Donald Trump. So, I mean, it's unprecedented. I mean, I've had, I don't live in the UK anymore, but I've lived through several prime ministers. I actually was alive during the Thatcher era. And Thatcher, when she came under pressure, she did the right thing. And, you know, when the party started losing faith in her, she stepped away to protect the Conservative Party. Theresa May, though I wasn't in the UK under her leadership, she did the right thing and she stepped away. Cameron, when he made a mistake with the Brexit vote, he straight away stood down from his mistakes. But Bojo, I can't imagine, I can't hold it, I can't just, it's beyond me. It's a complete farce. But anyway, enough of that. Let's have a look at the sterling and see how the sterling is doing. Yeah, let's have a look at the sterling. All right, as we can see, okay, we've had a little bit of buyback from it currently. It's currently trading 1.9779. I still think there is more bad news to come for the British pound. I wouldn't really be thinking of any sort of bull runs with the British pound till you see this level I've been watching, 1.20034, till I see a potential clean break of that level. Because at the moment I can see that as a potential area of interest as a resistance. But yeah, so it's getting a bit of a buyback, but still the bears are really, I think, really dominant with this pair as it stands. Yeah, so let's see if we look at the guppy as well, which is the British pound, Japanese yen, a little bit of buyback on that. Obviously, it's testing now the 200-day moving average as well. So it'll be interesting to see if we can get a bit of momentum. But I think the overall sentiment for the sterling at the moment, especially with all this political uncertainty going on in the UK, is going to be still fairly bearish in the medium to long term. So yeah, there we have it. Other events today, I don't think anything's going to outshadow, obviously, with the drama with the euro, Bojo, and all that. But still key events to keep an eye on. Bojo. Trust me, I live in nothing political can shock you. I believe you, buddy. I believe you. I think I do believe you. Boris Johnson, the UK is supposed to be setting examples, and it's just not setting an example. So it's embarrassing me for me being a Brit. But yeah, I find it shocking. But yeah, but anyway, let's go on to market events, not political events. So we've got other things coming out today. Obviously, US initial claims, ECB Lagarde to speak. I think she's a dove, in my opinion. Then, of course, tomorrow, US average earnings, US unemployment, US NFP, and I will be doing a watch along for those events because I do think in the future the labor market is going to be. It's going to be really focused upon because, like I've said previously, the FOMC, the Fed, and everybody said the economy can handle aggressive rate hikes because we have a good labor market. But we have started seeing a decline in the labor market. So I think if we see a very dramatic decline tomorrow, that will wake the markets up. And, I think the labor market will start coming under a lot of focus soon. As the markets stand, European indices, that is, FTSE currently up 0.35%, DAX currently up 1.47%, and Eurostoxx 50 currently up at 1.15%. So slight bit more buyback on those as the market currently stands. So yeah, yeah, so that's the story from last night. And let's see what happens for the rest of the day. I think the ECB monetary policy meeting would be interesting. Definitely see if we can maybe get a bit more of a direction and indication what the ECB might be doing in the future, which might give the Euro bulls a bit of a boost. Because let's face it, they need it at the moment. But yeah, so I'll be keeping an eye on that. In the meantime, is there any questions at all? Anybody want to ask me anything? Oh, I needed that. No, okay. No problem. No problem. Don't forget, if you think of a question later, put it in the comments either on Facebook and YouTube, and I will see them, and I will reply to them next time I go live. Talking of which, I'm going live again this afternoon at 1 p.m. UTC. Let's see how many more stories we've got coming out which can affect the market. And yeah, so please join me for that. And remember, if you're watching me on Facebook and you like it, by all means, give us a follow. If you're watching us on YouTube and you've enjoyed this little video and found it insightful and useful, then by all means, subscribe if you like. Hit the notification buttons next time you know I'm going live. If you enjoyed this video and you've more importantly put up with my enthusiasm and my excitement and enjoyed it and you found it useful, give me one of those. It's like, I've got 2 likes already, which is lovely, which is always nice to know that what I do you like. Is always good. But anyway, on that note, remember, these little videos are for educational purposes only and in no way whatsoever should be taken as financial advice. I always suggest you do your own research, do your own due diligence, and of course, know the risks at hand before entering any trade. Till next time, every single one of you, trade safe.